Most parents think action adventure means explosions and car chases, but the movies that leave lasting memories with your kids, they're the ones that show them something real they may not have experienced before. And that's what White Fang does. Today, I'm telling you why this 1991 Disney classic is the family movie night pick you won't regret. And it's perfect for ages 8 and up. And there is one caveat you want to know before you hit play. So stick around. Welcome to Wholesome TV Picks. I'm your host, Jennifer, giving you wholesome TV your family can trust. No surprises, no regrets. Let's get into it. White Fang is an adaptation of Jack London's novel. The movie takes place in Alaska around the late 1800s, during the gold rush. People are flooding into this wild, treacherous landscape, trying to strike it rich. And the main characters, Jack Conroy, played by Ethan Hawke, and Alex Larson, played by Claus Marie Brandeur, well, they don't exactly get off on the right foot. But you're going to see their relationship go from pretty antagonistic all the way to a really deep friendship by the end. And the star of the show is none other than Jed, who plays White Fang. White Fang goes from being a pup raised by a tribesman to being sold to a not-so-kind man who uses him for his own financial gain, ending up with Jack, who then has to earn White Fang's trust, and they become inseparable, going everywhere together. Everywhere in Alaska, that is, because that's where the movie was filmed. And we have plenty of real animals, which is the kind of filmmaking that brings the story to life. Most studios stopped doing this a long time ago, and you can really see the difference on screen. According to Ethan Hawke himself, who was around 18 at the time, and spent months building rapport with Jed and the other animals on set, he said there was no internet, no phone, just him and the wolves earning their trust. And that's what it took to make those performances feel real. I'll also tell you that this movie does something special to kids, especially my daughter, who's watched this movie an umpteen number of times, like mother, like daughter, I guess. And when I was putting this episode together, I asked her if she wanted to share what she loves about it. And here's what she said.
I just needed to say that White Fang is absolutely one of the best family movies that has ever been created, and it's one of my favorite movies to watch with my mom all the time. I just love all the scenery, and I love the wolves. I think that all the actors actually did a wonderful job acting, especially with Ethan Hawke. He did such a wonderful job acting in that end scene, and the wolves and the animals as well all did a good job acting. This movie is very fun and action-packed, and it's great for the whole family. I think if you give it a chance, you will love it.
I agree with everything she just said. She's also asked me more than once while watching this movie if we can ever visit Alaska one day and see all the locations where White Fang was filmed, because the scenery in this movie is breathtaking. We're talking green mountains, lush blue skies, lakes, rivers, and so much more. It's just a feast for the eyes. Let's get into what your kids are actually going to walk away with from this movie, because there's a lot to cover. First, keeping your word. There's an early scene where Jack and Alex are mushing through the harsh conditions of Alaska. They're carrying the body of Alex's deceased friend back to his home to bury him because Alex promised him that. Jack is exhausted. They're cold, and at one point, they stop in the middle of nowhere for a minute, and Jack looks at Alex and says, "Can't we just bury him here? I don't think he'll know the difference." And Alex looks at him and says, "I gave him my word." And then they mush on. That's it. Then there's the friendship between Jack and Alex. Remember, they didn't like each other in the beginning. And part of that is something I think you kind of have to pick up on yourself. But I think a big part of it comes from the fact that Alex can't read and Jack can. Later in the movie, Jack is teaching Alex how to read. And it's a funny scene because you can see Jack's getting a little tired and frustrated, which as a homeschool mom or any mom in general, teaching your kids to read at any age, we all go through those frustrations now and then. But anyways, Alex is reading the passage, and he's reading, "When the door was finally open and the fowl, like the birds, Jack says, no, foul like the birds is Fowl. This is Foul, foul, like a bad smell, like rotten. And then he grabs Alex's sock right off their drying line above him, and he throws it at him and says, like your socks smell foul. This is one of mine and my daughter's favorite parts of the movie. I'll never forget the memories with my dad. This part was always his favorite scene. It's just a sample of the humor woven throughout the movie. It's really interesting to see how even kids today, like my own when they watch this for the first time, can see how people who didn't get along can evolve and become close friends still, even when they don't agree on everything. Like, just forgive, forget, and move on. My daughter has said, too bad more people can't be like that today. Another important characteristic is seeing people in this movie know how to build things. Jack and Alex have to fix up a rundown cabin and rebuild it themselves. There's no such thing as Home Depot here. They're making the support beams, drainage systems for the mine, the wagons, tracks, all of it from scratch. It's really mind-blowing. I don't know, there's something really grounding about watching people use their hands and build things that they needed to survive. My daughter and my son say, wow, how did they make all that stuff? And it reminds me of MacGyver, who's the master of survival and building things out of whatever he can find. And here's the big one, letting go. Near the end, Jack has to decide whether to keep White Fang or let him go. And watching Jack wrestle with that decision is something I'm sure we can all relate to. It reminds me of another Disney movie called Cheetah. There's a quote that has stuck with me all these decades. When you love something, loss can be part of the bargain. Wow, that's a life lesson that kids can easily understand. Before you hit play, earlier I said there was one caveat about this film. Well, there's actually two. This movie is clean. There's no gore, no cursing. Well, actually, there is one. I won't say the word, but the man who says this word is using it in its proper context to describe a female dog. I'm sure you know where I'm getting at. It's just said one time really quick, and it's so fast it may or may not be heard. There's also no sex or nudity. However, there are scenes of dogfighting in the movie that you may or may not want your kids to see, depending on how sensitive they are or how you feel about the subject. Now I'm circling back to Jed here and his acting in this movie. It's just incredible. It's amazing how animal trainers like Clint Rowe were able to produce these kind of top-level acting animals. Jed gives an incredible performance, and you can feel the emotion coming off of this animal. There's one scene where Jack's life is in danger. Will White Fang come to his rescue? It's an awesome showdown that any kid is going to be impressed by. I remember this scene in the theater when my dad took me to see it. There were so many moments like this one where kids were just clapping, and I can hear the murmuring of kids asking their parents, how did he do that? It's a movie that is definitely mesmerizing for kids. White Fang is a family-friendly movie that works on so many levels. It's a good story, real animals, stunning scenery, and a friendship story your kids will remember. It is truly family entertainment at its best. You can find White Fang on YouTube Movies, Prime Video, Disney Plus, and Fandango. And hey, if this episode helped you find a movie your family is going to love, do me a favor and head over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review. It helps other families find this show and maybe their next favorite movie too. Join me next week where I'm going to talk about an edge-of-your-seat thriller, something unimaginable that happened back in 1988. Don't miss it. Thanks for listening. As always, enjoy the rest of your week. Happy watching. And remember, your values matter and your TV does too. Bye for now.